On the day of her arrival in the DRC, Minister Motshekga was briefed that M23 rebels had been advancing on the city of Goma in the eastern DRC.
The rebels are fairly armed and it's fought from different fronts, so it's not only the Congolese who are fighting amongst themselves, but the battles are outside even Congo.
Later, the SANDF confirmed that 9 South African soldiers, 7 who were with Samir DRC and 2 who were with MONUSCO, had been killed in the DRC. The fighting is said to have escalated over the past few weeks, and organized M23 forces were moving in on Goma. The next day, on Sunday the 26th of January, MONUSCO was reported to be holding its positions against M23 attacks, and the UN confirmed the deaths of 3 members of its peacekeeping forces. 2 were South Africans and 1 was from Uruguay.
Pushback at Sake came at a great cost, resulting in the loss of 13 of our gallant fighters. Regrettably, on Monday, the 27th January 2025, several long-range mortar bombs were launched towards Goma Airport, with some landing in the South African National Defence Force base, leading to the loss of 3 additional South African National Defence Force soldiers.
Day the 27th of January, South Africa confirmed the deaths of another 3 soldiers in Goma. The 2 mentioned by the UN on Sunday were caught in the crossfire at the Goma airport between M23 and the Congolese army. Another died from injuries sustained in last week's attack, bringing the SANDF toll in the DRC to 13. A day later, the United States urged the United Nations Security Council to consider measures to halt the M23 Rwanda advance. Ramaphosa, meanwhile, said the repatriation of the remains of the fallen South African soldiers was underway.
Things are relatively quiet at the moment, and our soldiers are also in a safe place. So that's what we can say at the moment. I spoke to some of the leaders earlier. I spoke to President Kagame again this morning, and we are insisting that a ceasefire must hold. So that's where the progress is.
January 30, President Ramaphosa called for a peaceful resolution to the conflict. He stressed that the SANDF members were part of 2 separate peacekeeping forces, one from the United Nations and one from SADC.
There are a number of forces that operate in this area, and we agreed that a peaceful political solution is the best option to any military action.
That day, Kagame issued a scathing statement, disputing some of the facts presented by Ramaphosa about their conversation.
Africa dares even issue threats about what is likely to happen after that and so on and so forth. Of course, we will see what threats they are talking about.
Together with International Relations Minister Ronald Lamola, addressed the media on the sidelines of this week's Cabinet Lekgotla.
Our position as South Africa, we've been meeting as the troop force contributing countries of DRC, which is us, Tanzania and Malawi, under SADC, to assess the situation. So on a daily basis, we've been meeting. On a 2-hourly basis, we get updates and reports of what is happening. But we also, as I say, we have also MONUSCO forces which are under UNESCO. So under the SADC forces, we've been meeting as the Troika. We met the other night, but the general posture that we are taking as a Summit DRC is to force the parties to go into a peaceful negotiation.
There has been a number of international multilateral organizations meetings. The first being the Peace and Security Council of the African Union that sat yesterday, and its resolutions have been published. As South Africa, we participated in that platform, and put our position across, which is a ceasefire, the immediate cessation of hostilities, the withdrawal, the allowance of humanitarian access.
While diplomatic efforts continue to find a lasting solution to the violence in the DRC, the families of the deceased are waiting for bodies of their loved ones to be repatriated. Some are angry about the slow pace of the process, saying government and the SANDF has left them in the dark.